Imagine back at the end of 2022 when the FTX scandal came out and we were at the depths of the crypto market, FTX imploded. Imagine someone telling you at that point that within 2.5 years, we would have literal presidents of entire countries endorsing or directly launching their own meme coins. And then having those meme coins either dropping up to 80% from their highs within a matter of weeks after launch, or end up being a complete rug and having the president delete their tweets that were endorsing or promoting or sharing, whatever you want to call it, that entire launch. Well, that is exactly where we are at right now, and it is pretty crazy. So I wanted to make a bit of an update here and share my thoughts on the charts and whether this is the top of the crypto bull cycle for 2024, 2025, or whether this is just a shakeout along the way. Grab yourself your favorite beverage. Let's dive in. So basically the timeline goes, Donald Trump gets elected to be president of the US. This is towards the end of 2024. We had a massive pump in Bitcoin where it went from like 65,000 to 100,000 in the month of November in a single month. And since then, everything has kind of gone downhill. Now, Trump's inauguration to becoming president, that went smoothly. But a couple of days before his inauguration, literally 2 days before, he surprised the whole world by, on his official Twitter account, launching the Trump meme coin on Solana. This is absolutely insane. And this meme coin went absolutely nuts. It went to well over $10 billion in market cap in a matter of hours. And people were jumping on the train. They were wondering, is his account hacked? What happened here? And then, even just about a day after that, First Lady Melania Trump, on her official Twitter account, launched the Melania coin. And that sucked all the liquidity out of the Trump coin. Things got really messy from there, and the whole market basically just dropped. And meme coins are down pretty much like 80%. A lot of these other meme coins like Fart Coin and all these AI agent coins, and basically we can all call them scams pretty much. They're all down massively. And now, over the last 2 to 3 days, we had the president of Argentina endorse a coin called LIBRA, which was supposed to be like an official coin, how to invest in Argentina, be part of the future success of Argentina, except that ended up being an even worse failure than the Trump coin. The Trump coin is still around, but it's down, I think, about 80% from its peak. But this Libra coin, in a matter of hours, it pumped to over 4 billion in market cap and then completely rugged. And then the president of Argentina deleted his tweets about it, and now we're getting all sorts of insider information coming out where literally the person who seems to be behind all of this, allegedly Hayden, some kid from, I think he's from California, from LA, I don't know where he's from originally, seems to be in his late 20s, who's behind a lot of this. And they seem to be behind multiple of these launches. In fact, he also seems to be connected to the Melania launch and various other meme coins. And it seems like all of these coins were launched with the intent of being a scam to max extract value from retail, basically with absolutely zero intention to actually build anything behind these coins. Obviously, this is all allegedly, and you should go, if you haven't done so yet, and watch this video by CoffeeZilla. He did an interview with Hayden, like an hour-long interview, where Hayden basically opens up like a book and spills the truth on so many things. I'm not a lawyer, but it seems like he's confessing to things that might actually just be completely criminal, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. So if you haven't watched that yet, I'll link to it down below. Go and watch that video by CoffeeZilla. It explains the whole process, and I'm not going to go into that level of detail in any way to explain what's happening here, because my focus is more on the charts anyway. But I wanted to just bring you up to speed on what's happening in the crypto markets. You probably are already familiar with all of this, what has been happening, and it's just absolutely crazy. So the problem with all of this now is that I would say that this could be on a similar scale level as the FTX scandal, as the Luna collapse scandal, in terms of just the crime behind it and the potential implications that it could have on the broader market and on crypto. Now, it is a little bit different in the sense that FTX obviously had more than $10 billion of users' funds that were then basically locked and taken away. Okay, so that was obviously bad. Luna was also bad in the sense that it had tens of billions of dollars locked in a protocol that basically evaporated like this. Now, these meme coins, if they end up all being the scams that it seems that they are, which means that the insiders behind this, who knows how deep this goes, because obviously they had some ways of either manipulating or getting access to official accounts like Trump's account, Melania's account, and getting the president of Argentina to tweet this. Maybe through false pretenses, maybe through lies, maybe through manipulation, maybe not. Who knows how deep it all goes? Eventually, I think more of that truth will come out. But the fact that this has happened and that hundreds of millions of dollars have probably been stolen or extracted in a fraudulent or scamming way, there's much less regulation in the crypto markets than there is in the stock markets. In the stock markets, this kind of stuff would 100% be illegal. But I think in the crypto markets, this is also just massive fraud and scam. And this is by far, in my opinion, just going to have a negative effect on the markets. At least on the meme coins, which are all, it's gotten too ridiculous anyway. This whole cycle, tens of millions of coins have been created. They're all scams. These people are just doing it, launching a coin to try and extract money from retail. And you can say, or you could argue like, well, maybe the people who are buying this are the reason why, supply and demand. So, if people are stupid enough to buy these scam coins, then the scammers are going to keep scamming. But at the same time, it's not okay, right? Like, we can't just have all these scams launching and all this manipulation, and it's just gonna ruin the optics for crypto. I think we're already at that point. I mean, anyone who's not super in the trenches or anything like that, or hasn't been around crypto for a long time, you're gonna see this. Crypto already had kind of a bad name, but now it's really like all these coins are just garbage. And then you have to ask yourself, like, all these exchanges who are listing all these garbage coins to be able to just get the fees from that and participate in that, like what is their role in it all? Are they facilitating it all by making it easier to access all these scam coins that are designed to extract value from people? And it's just getting more and more messy, and basically taking away from Bitcoin and the original intention behind crypto and it all. And then it's basically just become a giant unregulated casino, and even worse than a casino, it's just full of scams. So now the average person who's going to look at crypto and potentially be interested in crypto, well, they see all of this, and now, in the previous cycles, it was already bad with kind of the negative publicity towards crypto. But now you're seeing this, and it basically just confirms so many people's perception of crypto that, hey, it's just scams and rugs. And the large majority of what's going on, especially with all these meme coins, is indeed, it is all scams and rugs. So that could have a broader implication on the market. Now, we have to kind of also consider the option of, is this an isolated incident? Can the meme coins and the scam around that kind of just be like a cancer for the industry that's kind of surgically removed at some point, where people realize, okay, this is all garbage, and people smarten up, they stop investing in it, so people stop launching it because it just doesn't work anymore. And then we get maybe a return to quality. Maybe people start to realize, oh, well, maybe Bitcoin and the Bitcoin maxis were right all along, and maybe everything else is garbage. Like Michael Saylor says, there is no second best, and we see a flight back into Bitcoin, and the rest of the market kind of auto-corrects itself and kind of self-heals itself. And then maybe a return to some utility alts, maybe Ethereum, maybe some of the other projects that are trying to build something real, maybe they will receive more influx, right? Maybe people will get tired of gambling and they'll be like, okay, I just want to make some investments for the longer term, and maybe it goes back into that. But there is also a chance that this, in a bigger way, leads to some sort of contagion in the market, where, of course, Solana is the underlying chain for all of these meme coins. And the fact that Solana did so well is mostly because there was so much activity on the network. We saw that in previous cycles with Ethereum being the underlying chain, and Ethereum ended up doing really well because of the ICOs, because of the NFTs, and because of all the coins being launched on top of it, right? So the base layer chain directly benefits from all the activity on it. So if the memes and the scams are going to go away, then maybe it's not good for Solana. And if Solana ends up disappearing, then maybe a lot of the investments start getting out of there. People start questioning, hey, maybe it's time to start getting out. And maybe I want to get out before other people start realizing that it's time to get out. And it kind of creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where the markets just sell off because people are reducing their risk. And they're like, hey, maybe I'll just reduce my risk, or maybe I'll take it all out the market. And let's see where the dust settles. And let's see what all happens. For now, I'm just going to take my investment out. And if enough big players start doing that, it causes the price to drop. When the price drops, more and more people are going to start panicking. Maybe liquidations get hit, and it just creates this basically bear market or cascade or flash crash. There's a lot of options here on the table. So looking at the chart, because at the end of the day, that's pretty much all that matters. Where is the price going to go? And again, all of this macro stuff that I just explained here, I just wanted to give you an update of where we are in the markets. Let's look at the charts, because ultimately that's what matters. So we have the Bitcoin weekly chart, and I think that's just the best place to start. We're here at just under $96,000. And as you can see, we are simply above the 50-week moving average, which means technically here we are in a bullish trend. Every single bull market, as long as it's been above the 50-week moving average, it is technically still in a bullish trend on the higher time frame, meaning making higher highs and higher lows. Even here, back in last year in August, when it retested it, it held the support and it continued with a leg higher. So the simple analysis of this is that Bitcoin is in a bullish trend on the weekly chart until it loses the 50-week moving average, which is $74,000, which is, at this point in time, also the exact high of March 2024. So that new all-time high, it is now has confluence with this. So that would be our line in the sand, in my opinion, over here for a bearish or bullish trend. If we lose 74,000, if we get a weekly close below that 50-week moving average, then based on the data, it is very likely that we are going to be followed by a new bear market and another 50% lower in price for Bitcoin. So meaning that if we go below 74,000, we could go as low as into the 30,000s in the 12 months that follow. That's basically what happened every single previous bear market, and you can go and look that up. I'm not going to do that right now, but for example, over here, when we lost 45,000, you can see we ended up going to 16,000. It's more than a 50% drop. Even over here in 2017, when we lost the 50-week moving average, we ended up going from 7,000 to 3,500. That's a 50% drop, right? So based on the data, if we lose the 50-week moving average at 74,000, we can expect us to drop into the 30,000s if this pattern repeats again. Now, we are still at about $96,000. So that means we could still drop $20,000 and still technically be in a bull market. So what we could get is we could get a sell-off here all the way down, which would be probably pretty brutal for altcoins because a lot of altcoins are already way down. If Bitcoin drops another 20 to 30% from here, altcoins are probably going to drop 30 to 50% and be absolutely wrecked. And if Bitcoin holds around here, there's still a chance that it could end up going higher. So that is what we're looking at purely on the weekly chart. This is still a possibility. We could drop to 74, and from there, if it holds, we could still be in a bull market. If we lose 74 and we get below the 50-week moving average, we probably enter a new bearish trend or a bear market with another 50% drop. So at this point in time, it's going to be very important to see what happens. One thing I want to show you here also, which is more bearish, is the fact that on the RSI here on the weekly, we do have this bearish divergence, which marked the top of the previous cycle. We have the same bearish RSI divergence right here between these two highs. So there is a very good case technically to be made why we are probably going lower and going to retest this 50-week moving average at the minimum. Now, this could change, of course, and nobody knows the future for sure. If we knew that, we could all be billionaires or trillionaires. It just doesn't work that way. So it's all about probabilities. So we do have all this negative Memecoin scam stuff coming out, which is obviously a negative for the whole market. We have the bearish RSI divergence. So all of that probably leans in favor towards a larger correction in the markets. Now, if we can somehow get above 102,000 with a weekly close, then maybe it's possible that we do get a continuation of the bullish case and continue higher. Okay, so it's always about if then. We don't know what's going to happen, but there are just certain levels. And if the bulls can push the price, whether it be through manipulation, through leverage, whether it be through a strategic reserve announcement or new ETFs or quantitative easing, all of those things, there's a bunch of things that are just completely unlikely. But whatever random reason, if we can get above 102,000, that is the level I'm looking at. If we get a weekly close above that, then it's more likely that we get bullish continuation and potentially 120 to 140,000 and some sort of blow off top. But that is only if we get above 102,000. For now, we are below that, which means we are in bearish or negative territory, and the odds, in my opinion, favor us going down. So that's basically the risk reward at this point in time, how I see it. The invalidation of the bearish case is getting above 102,000, which at this point in time is about $6,000 to the upside. The downside is maybe 74,000, and if that breaks, maybe as low as 40,000 or into the 30,000s. And just to show you, if you just put the trade setup on the chart, it would look something like this, where the invalidation is basically 102, maybe a little bit lower like that. And you can see if it were to go to, let's just say 40,000, that's almost a 1 to 10, right? So if you were to take this as a trade, your risk would be 1 unit, whatever you risk there, if you're risking 1% of your trading account, and the upside would then be potentially 9 or 10% if this plays out. Okay, again, there's no guarantees, but that is how I'm looking at the charts right now. That's how I'm looking at the markets. We are still technically bullish, but there's a lot of reasons to be bearish. Now we're just waiting for the charts to show us confirmation. At this point in time, it's still perfectly hanging out here, but bulls need to step in soon, and they need to push it above 102,000 if we're going to have a chance of any bullish upside. Personally, based on everything I've explained, based on the charts that I've just shown you, I'm leaning more towards downside, and whether or not that's going to hold at the 50-week moving average at about 74,000 or not, that remains to be seen. But this is just basically how I'm seeing it. So how to position from there, what to do from there, I can't give you financial advice. You always need to make your own decisions. But the most important thing is that you are always prepared for a worst case scenario. Are you prepared for if the market starts a bear market from here, whether that's a flash crash or a 12-month bear market? We don't know. But imagine it drops to 40,000 and imagine altcoins drop another 90%. Are you going to be okay? You just need to be in a position where you're not going to be financially ruined if the top is in and if a flash crash or a bear market starts from this point in time. If you're in that position, experts always say you shouldn't have more than 10% exposure to crypto of your net worth, which means in the very worst case, if you lose 10% of your net worth, you will still be okay, right? You lose your 10%, it sucks, but you can make it back. You can still pay your bills, you still have money for investments, for all sorts of other stuff, and you'll be fine. But there's a lot of people who are massively overexposed, who are in 50, 60, 70, 80%. 90% of their net worth in crypto. What happens if that drops 80 or 90%? Will you still be okay? I think that's the main thing to take away from it. So I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and share it with a friend. I'll see you in the next video.